Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Friday, February the 25th. Now we have a 9-game Friday night slate to go over, and as always guys, we're going to talk through each one of these 9 games. I'm going to break down each team, kind of give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at the slate on Thursday night. And then as we do go through each game, we will build out an early core, just kind of talk about 5 players that, specifically stand out to me at first look on both DraftKings and on Yahoo. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, please do hit the like button down below, guys. I do always appreciate the likes. If you're new to the channel and you have not yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers. Hopefully, we'll reach that milestone, maybe within the next month or two. I appreciate all you guys that have subscribed, all you longtime supporters. If you're new and you have not yet, hit that subscribe button. Do upload NBA content, pretty much daily to this YouTube channel, Monday through Friday. I've also been making Prize Picks content as well. That's something that I started on Thursday, and I will be, continuing to post throughout the season. So Prize Picks, if you're new and you have not checked them out yet, they actually are the sponsor of this video. You can go check out Prize Picks, sign up, and use code NOAH when you do, and Prize Picks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. Now, Prize Picks is more of a player prop based DFS site, so it is very simple. You're just going to be picking the over or the under on players' projections. You can see they already do have some stuff posted for Friday night's NBA slate. Now, obviously, they're going to have a lot more stuff posted, as we get closer to tip-off Friday night. Usually by Friday morning, they'll have their full board posted. And I will be making, my video for Friday's slate, so probably sometime around like 1, 2 Eastern Friday afternoon, I will have my Prize Picks video posted on the channel. If you want to check that out, it'll be available sometime in the early afternoon, talking through some of my favorite plays on Prize Picks for this slate. Once their full board is posted, I will get that video up on Friday afternoon if you want to check that out. But again, if you guys are new and you want to sign up for Prize Picks, you can use code NOAH, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100 when you sign up with my promo code. But yeah, let's take a look at this 9-game slate. We're going to start off with the Raptors and Hornets game. So looking at the Raptors today, we will need to monitor the status of Fred VanVleet, who is currently questionable. Now, obviously, this is their first game back from the All-Star break, so they've been, they've had a week of rest. I would expect that VanVleet probably plays here, given, the week or two that he's been out, given, the rest he was able to get. Expecting VanVleet to play, we kind of know where we want to go to on Toronto. The starters, Siakam, VanVleet, assuming he plays, Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, these guys are all going to play 35 plus minutes if it's a close game. Now Pascal Siakam has obviously been like the most consistent of all the Raptors starters. He's been the highest upside guy as well, and this is a really good spot for him against a Charlotte team that does struggle to defend bigs. Charlotte this season has not really been that good defensively in general. In terms of pace, they've been one of the fastest paced teams in the league. It's a really good spot in general for all these Raptors guys, but I think Siakam specifically at 9,300 is probably my favorite of all the Raptors today. VanVleet, if he plays, I think is a low-owned option you could go to. Gary Trent, I'd have more interest in if VanVleet sits. At his price point, I don't think he really stands out. OG Anunoby at 6'2", he's been really, really up and down this year. He hasn't been nearly as good as he was, at the beginning of the season. The game log is just not very pretty right now for OG Anunoby, but this is still still a decent point per minute player. Most nights OG is going to put up around a fantasy point per minute, and most nights he's going to play 35, 36 minutes. So I still think at 6,200 he is a playable option. Same with Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes hasn't shown massive upside this year, but very consistent option. Going to probably play 30 plus minutes. He's only 5,800. It's a good matchup. I would feel a lot better about these secondary pieces like Trent, OG, Barnes. I would feel a lot better about these guys if VanVleet sits. If VanVleet plays, I'm not super excited about them, but I think Siakam, regardless, looks like a pretty good option here. The rest of Toronto, I'm not really going to. It's just, Siakam stands out the most. VanVleet, if he plays, is fine. The other starters, I don't hate, and that's probably it from the Raptors. Now, on the other side of this game was Charlotte. So, Charlotte, they're very similar to Toronto in that they're going to run a tight rotation. They're going to play their main guys pretty big minutes. They're only going to run probably an 8-man rotation, maybe 9-man rotation. So a lot of the starters, specifically LaMelo, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, these guys are going to play really, really big minutes if the game's close. LaMelo at 9,600, I think price probably where he should be. But again, if it's a close game, you're going to get 35, 36 minutes from LaMelo. We've seen LaMelo has big-time upside. He can put up a triple-double any night. Don't love the spot for him. Don't love the matchup. He has really struggled against Toronto this season, but I think LaMelo as a tournament plays okay. Rozier and Bridges, where they're priced at, I'm not super excited about. Charlotte will be getting back Cody Martin today, who is probable. So Cody Martin coming back does add like another body into the mix. Maybe the minute ceiling on these main starters isn't as high. Maybe they see a few less minutes than they normally would. Not too much really stands out from Charlotte in general, just given the pricing. If these guys were cheaper, I think they'd look a little bit better. But LaMelo always has upside. Bridges should play a lot of minutes. The rest of Charlotte, I'm not really looking to. I don't think Harrell or PJ Washington or Mason Plumlee I'm going to be going to. That's really it from Charlotte. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game, San Antonio and Washington. So looking at San Antonio today and the Spurs, DeJounte Murray, 10,800. No issues going to him on this slate. We've kind of said it over and over with DeJounte Murray. The guy is just going to produce when he's on the court. He's got triple-double upside every night. Pretty sure he's actually I think he might even be leading the league in triple-doubles this year, or, towards the top of the league in terms of triple-doubles, this season. He's been stuffing the stat sheet, can do everything. 10,800, he's expensive, but he's worth this price tag because we've seen he's got 60-plus point upside. Have no issues going to DeJounte in tournaments. The rest of San Antonio, I'm not really that interested in. Jakob Poeltl at 7-3. Don't hate, because this is a really good matchup against Washington. Washington has really struggled defending bigs this year. Poeltl was pretty productive in only 24 minutes against them earlier this season, coming off a big game against OKC. Poeltl at 7-3, another guy that feels priced right, but playable, just given the good matchup. And I think that's probably it from San Antonio. Now, on the other side of this game with the Wizards, we kind of know with the Wizards, Kyle Kuzma, the main guy right now, getting, a lot of minutes. Obviously, his usage is really, really high. He's been, super productive. The one issue with Kyle Kuzma is that he's really expensive. He's 8,900, and this is a 9-game slate, so we do have a lot of other options that we can go to. I still think Kuzma does offer the upside to pay off this price tag, but it's not like you're getting him at a great price tag. It's not like Kuzma, is 7K or anything. If Kuzma was 7K, I think he'd be a great play today. At almost 9K, at that point, Kuzma's just an okay option. He still can put up 50-plus and be worth the price tag, but it's just not as likely. But Kuzma is a viable play. The rest of the Wizards, when it comes to Denny Avdia and KCP and Raul Neto, I just really never get excited about these guys, and where they're priced at, I do question the ceilings they have at these price tags. Denny Avdia, what does he need to score to put up, or what fantasy points does he need to score? How many fantasy points does he need to score to be a guy that you have to have at 5,100? He would probably have to go for 40 plus, and I just don't know if Denny Avdia has that kind of upside. Same with KCP, same with Neto. Do want to mention that Thomas Bryant is questionable, so this will be something to monitor. If Thomas Bryant does get ruled out, that would probably open up more minutes for Daniel Gafford. Maybe Vernon Carey will get some minutes, but Gafford would for sure be the biggest beneficiary. I'd assume he would start in place of Bryant, would probably play at least 20 to 22 minutes. You would have to think he might play a little bit more than that, especially if he's playing well. I think at 3,400, if Bryant gets ruled out and Gafford does wind up starting, Gafford will for sure be on my radar in terms of value. We know Gafford's a really good point-per-minute player. His minutes have been way down ever since they've been going with Bryant as the starter ahead of him. But I think if Bryant were to sit, that would definitely open up more opportunity for Gafford, more minutes. And at 3,400, I would have some interest in him as a value play. But that's really it from the Wizards. I think we can move on to the next game, OKC and Indiana. So OKC, they are on a back-to-back today, so we'll kind of have to pay attention to the injury report here. I would think everyone probably plays. We already did get word that SGA is expected to play, even on the back-to-back. Now, on this slate at 9K, does SGA stand out as a top option? I mean, I don't think so. The matchup against Indiana is pretty good. Indiana's going to be a really, really bad defensive team, I would expect, rest of season. They are going to get Malcolm Brogdon back for this game. Malcolm Brogdon probably will make their defense a little bit better. He'll probably guard SGA. SGA, when it comes to the... We kind of know what kind of upside he has. It all comes down to OKC being able to keep the game close, really. SGA, in games that stay close and he plays 35, 36 minutes, he usually does really well. In the games that they get blown out and he plays 28, 30 minutes, well, he's really not going to do well in those games. So, if you think OKC can keep this game close, obviously there's big-time upside for SGA if that's the case. I think at 9K, he's probably the one guy I'm interested in from OKC. I'm not really excited about anyone else on this Thunder team. I think it's just SGA here, and that's really it from the Thunder. So, other side of this game with Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton at 8,800. He's been really, really good ever since getting traded to Indiana. His game log with the Pacers is really pretty. He's been playing big minutes. He's been super productive. Malcolm Brogdon is expected to return for this game, so I think Brogdon coming back definitely hurts Halliburton enough to where he's not a top option for me at 8,800. I think Halliburton can still have a good game. I think he can still put up good numbers even playing with Brogdon. But with Brogdon coming back, that doesn't make Halliburton stand out as a top play, in my opinion. Brogdon himself, he hasn't played in so long. Like, I would think he's probably going to be on some sort of minutes limit here. Indiana has nothing to play for, so they're obviously not going to play Brogdon huge minutes. They're going to take it easy on him rest of season, so I'm guessing Brogdon will be on some sort of limit. Probably won't be interested in going there. Buddy Hield's role, I think, should still be solid. Buddy Hield and Halliburton, although they will get little bumps down with Brogdon back, like, they're still going to play a ton. Buddy Hield's been playing like almost 40 minutes a night ever since getting traded to Indiana. He's been really productive. He's been taking a lot of shots. He's been scoring, getting some rebounds, getting some assists. I still think at 6,300, Buddy Hield is in play. Obviously, I'm not as excited about these guys with Brogdon back, but they're still viable, Halliburton and Hield. And the rest of Indiana, I don't see too much else I like here. Brogdon coming back probably means that like Jalen Smith goes back to the bench. We'll have to see what they do with the starting lineup. Like, they have a lot of guys questionable right now. Goga's probable, but I believe Isaiah Jackson. Okay, so Isaiah Jackson's probable. I thought he was questionable. So he's probable. Duarte's questionable, though. I think if Duarte returns, like, that doesn't change too much. Jackson being probable, Bataze being probable. I mean, with all their bigs healthy, obviously Miles Turner not healthy, but with Jackson expected to play, Goga playing, Terry Taylor available, I just don't really want to go to the bigs on Indiana. So I think that's it for this Pacers team. We can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Houston and Orlando. Looking at Houston today, another team that I really never get excited about just because they're a bad team. They get blown out a lot, but I will say this is a game, going up against another bad team in the Magic. You would think this game does stay close. And if that is the case, you probably will see Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. both play relatively big minutes. I think it's 7,900 for Christian Wood. He's a low-owned tournament option. Christian Wood's one of these guys that has a really low floor just because the Rockets are so bad. They get blown out a lot. But when they can keep games close, you can see Christian Wood put up 50-plus Draftkings points. Went for 50 against Golden State, 53 against Golden State again, 52 against Sacramento. Like, he's got 50-plus point upside. It just all comes down to Houston keeping the game close. I think this game does stay close. I think Christian Wood does play his full minutes. So at 7,900, I have no issues going to Christian Wood. I think KPJ is a fine option too. Jay Shante, Dennis Schroeder, Jalen Green, like, none of these guys really stand out to me. Obviously, Schroeder played really well in the 2 games that Kevin Porter Jr. was out. But now that Kevin Porter Jr. is back, I'm guessing Schroeder goes to the bench, which doesn't make him that appealing. So yeah, I think that's really it for Houston. Houston, not a team I'm really excited about at all. And then on Orlando's side, Orlando, really good matchup here going up against the Rockets. Rockets been one of the better matchups to target this year. They've been playing really fast. The Rockets have. They've been a bad defensive team. So, like, it wouldn't be surprising to see, Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs or even Wendell Carter, like, one of these guys put up a big game. I think Cole Anthony at 7K might be my favorite of all the Magic guys, just because we have seen, some upside from Cole Anthony. The minutes have been a little inconsistent, but I would think if this game stays close, Cole Anthony probably plays, like, low to mid 30s minutes, and in a good matchup against a bad Rockets defense, he definitely has upside. So as a tournament play, I do have some interest in Cole Anthony. Wagner, another guy that, like, if the game's close, he probably plays around 30 to 32 minutes. He's been super inconsistent, but the matchup is really good. I think the upside is there for Wagner if this game does stay close. So, like, you could definitely make him he could definitely be a playable option as well. But, like, Okeke, Mo Bamba, Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, like, I'm not going to these guys. I think it's just Cole Anthony that stands out. Franz Wagner, I have some interest in. Even like Jalen Suggs, I don't hate, but definitely Cole Anthony's my favorite play from this Magic team, and I think that's really it. So we can move on to the next game, Miami and New York. This is one that I don't think I'm really going to be that excited about. These are 2 very slow-paced teams. I think both these teams are actually, like, towards the bottom of the league in pace. So the Knicks are 29th in pace, and the Heat are 28th. So yeah, man, you're going to just see a really slow-paced game here. This should be a really low-scoring game. Jimmy Butler always has big-time upside. In a game like this, though, like, I just really question the ceiling for these guys just because of how slow this game's going to play, how low-scoring this game should be. Can Jimmy Butler still go for 50-plus fantasy points? I mean, he absolutely can, but it's a 9-game slate. There's a lot of other options I think I'll be going to. Bam Adebayo, where he's priced at, I don't love on this slate. The guards, Lowry and Hero, Hero's coming back now, so I think that takes my, any appeal that Lowry had. I think Hero coming back probably takes that away. Hero himself, I'm not super interested in. It's just, this is not that appealing of a game, and Miami in general is not that appealing of a team. Jimmy Butler, if I had to play anyone on the Heat today, Jimmy would probably be the guy I'd go to. But then on the Knicks side, the Knicks are a little bit more appealing just because they are dealing with some injuries. RJ Barrett right now is questionable. We'll have to keep an eye on this. He's been questionable for a while. He was out a few games before the All-Star break, and he's still questionable for today. Derrick Rose is doubtful. He has a chance to return soon. He's been out for a while, though. He's been out for like almost over 2 months now. He's not expected to return. And then the big news is that Kemba Walker is basically, he's been shut down for the season. So Kemba Walker not going to play, and they're still without Derrick Rose. So we're going to see a change in the starting lineup. I'm guessing most likely scenario is that Alec Burks will start at point guard in place of Kemba. Alec Burks, when he has started at point guard, he's been able to be somewhat productive. Alec Burks is not a super productive like point per minute player. He's not a guy that's going to put up 50 Draftkings points or anything. But I would think if he does start at point guard, he probably plays 30 to 32 minutes, and at 4,900, probably averages close to a fantasy point per minute. I think it's just like a first look value play. I do like plugging in Alec Burks as a first look value. Depending on what kind of other value opens up as the day goes on, then maybe we could swap to some other guys. But for now, expecting Burks to start in place of Kemba, I do like Alec Burks as a value play on both sides. He's cheap on DraftKings. He's really cheap on Yahoo. He's a small forward over on Yahoo. I think he has a small forward eligibility on DraftKings too, but $14 on Yahoo. I do like Alec Burks as a value play over there. The rest of the Knicks, like Julius Randle, really tough matchup here against Miami, but Julius Randle right before the All-Star break was playing incredibly well. He was putting up huge games every single night. I mean, you can look at his game log and see it for yourself. 55, 62, 56, 61. Like, he was crushing every night, playing big minutes every night. The price has come up. The matchup's not good. I'll probably be off Julius Randle today, but with how well he's been playing, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to see him have another big game here. Fournier, I'm not really interested in. The rest of the Knicks, I'm not going to. I will say that I think with Derrick Rose still doubtful, not expected to play, Kemba out, Emmanuel Quickly should get some more opportunity. I don't hate Quickly as a dart throw in GPPs. I guess there is a possibility that Quickly starts. If that does happen, then obviously I would prefer Quickly over Burks if that's the starting lineup. But I'm guessing that Burks will start. But regardless, Quickly should play 22, 24 minutes off the bench. I think if RJ Barrett sits, that makes me feel a little bit better about Quickly's minutes just because that's one less body in the rotation. As a low-owned dart throw, I don't hate Quickly at 4,300, but that's really it from the Knicks. I think Alec Burks is definitely my favorite play from this team for sure, expecting him to start at point guard. We can go ahead and move on to the next game, Philly and Minnesota. So Philly today, the Sixers, they're going to be getting James Harden. He's making his Sixers debut, which is, going to be something that is obviously very impactful on this DFS slate because, we haven't really seen Harden play with the Sixers. I mean, this is his first game with the team. We don't know how Harden coming into this team is going to affect Joel Embiid, how it's going to affect everyone else. I would think that it's going to definitely negatively impact Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey. So I think Harris and Maxey with Harden now in the mix, those guys are probably out of play. Embiid, does he get a big bump down with Harden in? I mean, obviously Harden is a high usage player, so I don't think it's going to be good for Embiid. I think Embiid does get a bump down with Harden coming in, but would I be surprised if Embiid still had a massive game even with Harden playing? I wouldn't be surprised. Embiid's a low-owned dart throw. Harden himself, this is just a tough situation. It's always tough to predict what a guy's role is going to be on a new team, and especially a stud like Harden playing with another stud like Embiid. Two high usage players, playing together. What is Harden's usage going to be like in the Sixers offense? Are they going to stagger his minutes alongside Embiid so that one of those guys is on the floor at all times? We just don't know how they're going to use Harden, what his minutes are going to look like. He's been out for a few games with hamstring injury. He hasn't played since February 2nd. I guess there's a possibility he could be limited. I think for me, it's probably just a wait and see for Harden. I don't think I'm going to go there on this slate. I think Embiid probably gets a bump down too, so I'm not super excited about Embiid either. And then the rest of the Sixers, I think all these guys are just unappealing. I mean, Harden coming in is just going to take away from Harris, going to take away from Maxey, and the rest of the Sixers I'm not interested in. So not a team I really like that much, Philly. And then on the Minnesota side, I mean, Minnesota's kind of another team I'm not super excited about. When it comes to this Timberwolves team, you're going to look to the big three if you're going to anyone. Tough matchup for Cat going up against Embiid. There's a little bit of foul trouble risk here as well. So Cat, especially at 10-2, I'm pretty much off of. I think Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell, though, are both still viable. D'Angelo Russell actually had a massive game on Thursday night. This is a back-to-back for the Timberwolves, but I know Russell played really well Thursday night. He had a massive fourth quarter, finished with 51 fantasy points, 37 points, 2 rebounds, 9 assists. D'Angelo Russell obviously has big-time upside. So does Anthony Edwards. It's always tough to predict when these guys are going to go off. Russell went off Thursday night. I wouldn't be surprised if Edwards goes off Friday night. Like, it's just, you just never know with these Minnesota guys, but I think Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell are both viable options. Cat, I'm not as excited about in a tough matchup against Embiid. And then the rest of Minnesota, Beverly and Vanderbilt, these guys are basically, not that appealing, or basically out of play for me, not that appealing. In general, this is not a game I'm super excited about. So we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Dallas and Utah. Another game that I just don't really like that much. Dallas plays really slow. Utah, they've been a little bit faster this year, but still not that fast pace of a team. I mean, they're 19th in pace on the season, so another just kind of slow pace, sluggish game. Luka Doncic obviously is an incredible player, has massive upside. He's been playing incredibly well lately. Obviously, right before the break, he had a massive game against the Pelicans, went for 84 DraftKings points in 38 minutes. Even in a less than ideal matchup against the Jazz, like Luka could still come out here and put up 70 fantasy points and nobody would be surprised. Am I going to be jamming in Luka today? Like, I don't think so. I think it's a tough spot. The price tag's not that great, but Luka obviously can put up a huge game any night, so he is for sure in play. He's the one guy that I have interest in from Dallas. I'm not really looking to anyone else on the Mavs. Brunson, Dinwiddie don't really stand out to me. The rest of the Mavs, like Maxi Kleber, Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, I just never play these dudes. Dwight Powell, I never play. The Mavs are just a super unappealing team. Outside of Luka, I don't really get excited about anyone here. Luka's the one guy I'd be going to on Dallas. And then on Utah, Utah, when they're fully healthy, they're not a team I really get excited about either. And I think the price tags on Utah make none of these guys look super appealing. Donovan Mitchell at 8,700, fine, I guess. But in this matchup against Dallas, slow-paced game, I don't think Donovan Mitchell's a standout play by any means. Rudy Gobert has been on a minutes limit lately. His 2 games since coming back from injury, 22 and 28 minutes. After a week of rest, during the All-Star break, does Rudy Gobert come back today and play his full minutes? I guess there's a possibility, but I still don't consider him a great option at 8,400. And then Conley, Bojan, Clarkson, I don't play these dudes. I mean, I really don't see much from Utah that stands out. Utah's not a team I have much interest in either. We can start talking about some games, though, that I do have some interest in. So these 2 other games, these 2 other late-night games, Pelicans and Phoenix. So on the Pelicans, the Pelicans are not the team I'm super excited about, but the Phoenix Suns are a team I definitely like. On the Pelicans side, though, starting off here first, you got CJ McCollum at 8,600. He's been really good with the Pelicans ever since getting traded to New Orleans. He's kind of taken over as the alpha. He's been playing much more aggressive, been way better than Brandon Ingram on a points per minute basis. I still think Brandon Ingram has upside, but with how well CJ McCollum has played lately, I think CJ McCollum, if I had to pick one of Ingram or McCollum, I think I'd rather go to McCollum. But again, this is a tough matchup against Phoenix. One of these guys is probably going to be guarded by Mikal, and Mikal's been one of the best defenders in the league this year, so don't love the spot for CJ McCollum or Brandon Ingram. Still wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys has a good game. J-Val at 7,800 has been just a roller coaster this season. He finally had a good game last game against Dallas, played 34 minutes and had 48 DraftKings points. I've been saying it every slate. J-Val has massive upside and can put up a massive game any night. He's been super frustrating to roster this season and just as of late, but I still think that 45, 50-point upside is always on the table. So as a low-owned dart throw, I don't hate getting some exposure to J-Val today. But in general, most of my interest in this game is coming on the other side with Phoenix. So Phoenix, we talked about them in Thursday's video as being a team to target, and this is a back-to-back for Phoenix. I would expect that, everyone plays here even on a back-to-back. Devin Booker, was a top play for Thursday's slate, and he had a massive game. I'll pull up the game log real quick just so you guys can see. Booker went nuts on Thursday without CP3. We talked about him being, a really strong option. Had 25 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. Kind of got lucky with the 6 steals. I don't think we can project Booker for 6 steals again, but 25 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. Clearly, the usage, the opportunity was there. They started Booker at point guard. I think moving forward, they're going to start Booker at point guard. While Chris Paul's out, I think that's how they want to play things. So Booker, once again, is going to be a top play today, in my opinion. $38 on Yahoo, $9,200 on Draftkings. I mean, he's still one of my favorite options on this slate. We can clearly see his role without Chris Paul is going to be really good. So I like Booker a ton. I think Cam Johnson, expecting him to start again, is a really good value play. Cam Johnson played really well in starting, played good minutes too, and he's cheap on both sites. He's only $4,800 on Draftkings. He's really cheap on Yahoo. I like him quite a bit there. $15 on Yahoo. Cam Johnson did play 31 minutes on Thursday night in the starting lineup, put up 35 fantasy points, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Cam Johnson's been pretty productive when he does get opportunity, when he does get minutes. He's a really good shooter. He's a knockdown, 3-point shooter. He can get rebounds as well. He's just a guy that can produce when he's on the court. And I think the minutes, assuming he starts again, will for sure be there. And he's still cheap on both sides. So I like Cameron Johnson for value. Do want to talk about Cameron Payne. So we talked about Cameron Payne in Thursday's video. Obviously, I made that video before it was announced that he was out. So Cameron Payne did not play Thursday. We don't have any update yet on if he'll be available for Friday's game. So keep an eye on this. I think if Cameron Payne plays, he's going to be an appealing option, with Chris Paul out, just because I think there will be a lot of minutes available for Cameron Payne while CP3's out. But this is just something to wait and see on. I think if Cameron Payne sits again, you'll probably see more minutes for a guy like Aaron Holiday. But Aaron Holiday got priced all the way up to $5K, so even if even if Payne's out again, I'm not that excited about Aaron Holiday at $5K. Ayton and Bridges, where they're priced at, don't really stand out. I think they're fine options, but definitely Booker I like a lot. Johnson I like a lot if he starts again. Those are the two guys I like most from this Suns team. But that's it for this game. Last game of the night, we'll talk about the Clippers and the Lakers. So on the Clippers side, the Clippers here, pretty good matchup against the Lakers. Lakers so far this season, they've been a fairly fast-paced team. They haven't been that good defensively. So guys like Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, I think do offer some upside here. Now, the price tags are not great. Reggie Jackson is $7,600. You're definitely paying a premium for Reggie Jackson right now. Same with Marcus Morris, who is $6,400. But both these guys are viable options, in a good matchup and in what should be a somewhat fast-paced, high-scoring game. Hopefully this game can stay close. I think Jackson and Morris are fine. Terrence Mann at $5,400 should continue to play big minutes. He's kind of been inconsistent lately, but I think the big-time upside is still there for Terrence Mann, especially with how many minutes he's playing. It'll be interesting to see, if maybe he gets the LeBron assignment. I don't know who's going to guard LeBron for the Clippers. It might be Robert Covington. It might be Terrence Mann. Mann at $5,400 I don't hate. But in general, I'm not super excited about the Clippers, just because of the pricing. That's the main thing. You're paying the premium for Reggie Jackson. You're paying the premium for Marcus Morris. Terrence Mann is not that cheap anymore. But those guys are at least in play just because they are going to play a lot of minutes if this game does stay close. But on the other side of this game with the Lakers are the team that I do like quite a bit today. So no Anthony Davis for the Lakers. He's going to be out for a while with that ankle injury. And then, they're getting Carmelo Anthony back. He's probable. Avery Bradley's out. I don't think that really matters that much. But definitely the big news is that Anthony Davis is going to be out. So without Anthony Davis, we should expect pretty good roles for both LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. I think LeBron, while AD is out, is just going to carry a heavy, heavy workload. Obviously the Lakers right now, they're fighting for playoff seeding. I think currently they're 9th in the West. And I think the Clippers are actually 8th. So this is definitely an important game for, playoff seeding. Obviously the Lakers want to, stay in the playoff hunt. They at least want to get in the play-in, if not make a push for the 6th seed. They're trying to win games. They're going to be playing their guys big minutes, and I think LeBron, we can expect to play big minutes on a nightly basis rest of season, and his workload should be even heavier with AD out right now. So $10,600 for LeBron. I think he's my favorite pay-up option on the slate. I think I do prefer him over guys like Luka, Embiid, Harden, especially when you factor in that he's cheaper than all those guys. Like LeBron quite a bit on both sides, cheaper than those top-tier studs. He's a little bit cheaper than them on Yahoo too. $54 for LeBron on Yahoo. I like him, a decent amount over there. And then Russell Westbrook, I've been off Russell Westbrook basically the entire season, and especially as of late. But I think without Anthony Davis, the upside for Russell Westbrook is a little bit higher. I still think he does have a very low floor. I think Westbrook can definitely come out here and put up 35 DraftKings points, and nobody would be surprised. But I think that 45, 50-point upside is at least on the table, just because his role should be pretty good without AD. They're going to need some sort of scoring, some sort of facilitating, and obviously Westbrook can provide that at times. So I think Westbrook's a viable option. Malik Monk probably gets a little bit more opportunity. Don't hate him. Carmelo Anthony should play a good amount without Anthony Davis. It is to be determined who winds up starting in place of Anthony Davis. This is going to be something we do have to monitor. Sadly, this is the last game of the night, so I don't know when we're going to get the Lakers starting lineup. We probably won't get it till way after lock, late in the night. But if Carmelo winds up starting, I would like him a lot at $4,900. I think, though, what they're going to do is either start DeAndre Jordan or Dwight Howard. Now, on DraftKings, both guys are center, and both guys are minimum salary. So this makes for a pretty easy just kind of, play whoever starts. If Jordan starts, then he'd be the guy I'd go to. If Dwight Howard starts, then I like him a lot for value. And I'm expecting Dwight Howard to start. I think, last game after Anthony Davis got injured, they didn't even play DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan didn't even get any minutes. Dwight Howard played 12 minutes. He didn't play a ton, but you would think, I don't think they're going to go like super small. I guess they could play LeBron at the 5. We've seen them do that where they play LeBron at the 5 and then just surround LeBron with a bunch of shooters. So, Stanley Johnson, Austin Reeves, get those guys on the floor with LeBron. But maybe, they're going to have to play a big, I would think. I would think Dwight Howard does get some minutes at least. And obviously, if he starts, at minimum salary, Dwight Howard's going to project out as a pretty good value play today if he does wind up starting. You would have to think if he starts, he plays at least like 20 minutes, if not more than that. And Dwight Howard is a really good point per minute player. So at 3K minimum salary, expecting Dwight Howard to start in place of Anthony Davis, I think Dwight Howard is a pretty good value play on both sides. And again, if we do get news that he doesn't wind up starting and they start DeAndre Jordan instead, you could just swap Dwight Howard to DeAndre Jordan, given they're the same price point on both sides. But for now, expecting Howard to start, I do like Howard as a value play. If they start Carmelo Anthony, which I guess is possible, then Carmelo I would like a good amount too. But that's really it from the Lakers. I don't think I'm going to anyone else. THT, Stanley Johnson, Austin Reeves, Trevor Ariza. I'm not considering any of these guys. It's just LeBron, Westbrook, and then Melo is viable. Howard I like a lot if he starts, but that's it for the Lakers. So, yeah, guys, I think we covered all 9 of these Friday night games. I hope you guys did enjoy this breakdown. As always, I do appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed, click that like button down below. Click that subscribe button as well. Go check out the sponsor of the video, Prize Picks. Go sign up for Prize Picks. Use code NOAH. When you do, in Prize Picks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I will be making a Prize Picks video for today. Usually, probably around the early afternoon, maybe 1 or 2 Eastern. That video should be up on the channel, talking through some of my favorite picks on Prize Picks for tonight's games. If you guys want to check that video out, if you play on Prize Picks, definitely check out those daily videos that I will be posting, along with the DFS videos that you are watching every night that you're watching right now. But yeah, guys, appreciate all the support. Appreciate you watching. Best of luck on this 9-game slate, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.